In Italy, the presidential elections ended up in the re-election of Sergio Mattarella, a man of impeccable integrity. This will allow Mr. Draghi, a leader of equal integrity, to remain at the helm of the Italian government as Prime Minister, thus assuring a period of relative political stability. While intensification of Russian military maneuvers around Ukraine is being reported, diplomatic means are being explored to solve the increasingly dangerous stalemate situation. In the meantime, USA President Biden has promised 8,000 troops to be deployed in aid of NATO in the event of a military confrontation. Secretary of State Blinken will meet his Russian counterpart Lavrov. The British Prime Minister Johnson has paid a visit to the President of Ukraine and telephoned Putin, while pressure from some EU countries is mounting to dissuade Putin from his intent. A meeting between US President Biden and Putin is also envisaged. We asked political analyst Dr. Michael O'Hurley for an update on the crisis.
Let me give you a rundown of what I think has happened since we last spoke. Putin held a press conference at the Kremlin with Hungary's Viktor Orban, in which Putin claims that the U.S. is using Ukraine against Moscow. Orban, despite being a leader of the EU and a NATO country, sounded sympathetic to Russia, saying the differences are substantial. It sent a shaky message of division throughout Europe. However, Putin's threat against Ukraine has only caused Europe to solidify its understanding that this is truly a threat against the European way of life, values, and its future, and indeed against the eastern border of the EU, not simply Ukraine. And that has served to move Germany from a position of vacillation to a more solid and I would say forceful position to stand up to Russia, as with the 2014 invasion of Ukraine, which drove Ukrainians to be anti-Russian and to cease speaking Russian. This latest antic by Putin has only served to solidify support in Europe. More than that, it's given NATO a raison d'etre, a reason to exist that it may not have had really since the end of the Soviet Empire. Meetings at the UN this week didn't go well. Russia obfuscated and refused to give clear answers, which only again solidified support against Russia and for Ukraine's sovereignty, integrity, and safety within the UN. Boris Johnson visited Kyiv to visit President Zelensky, and in it he appealed directly to the Russian mothers about the lives and future of their children who are staged to threaten Ukraine's safety. The fact that he appealed directly to the Russian people would echo the analysis that the Russian state media and messaging from the Kremlin are falling on deaf ears, which means domestic problems for Putin at home. I'll close by observing that Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya, who was the rightfully elected president of Belarus before the election was stolen from her with Russia's help, has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. It's an issue that will smart with Putin, who is continuing to make himself an almost permanent pariah in the international community.
A few hundred British troops and armaments have been sent to the area by order of PM Boris Johnson, who has been extraordinarily active in getting involved in the Ukrainian affair. A move which has been suspected by many observers as a distraction from the severe domestic pressure he is under due to alleged parties inside Downing Street and Whitehall during lockdown, in which he allegedly participated. While the whole affair is being investigated by Scotland Yard, a report on the matter by British civil servant Sue Gray has been released. Without digging deep into details, the report confirms that there were failures of leadership and judgment in staging celebrative gatherings in Downing Street in breach of lockdown rules. Prime Minister Boris Johnson apologized in Parliament and said he was sorry for what had happened, admitting that the events under accusation shouldn't have taken place. But these apologies were vigorously contested by the opposition leader, who is calling for his resignation.
On the first anniversary of the coup d'etat in Myanmar by General Min Aung Hlaing, social unrest has turned into civil war, with armed protesters fighting the ruling military forces. In 1 year, 1,500 people have died in the attempt to overturn the regime of oppression which the population are subject to.